Many of you have known us over the years as the Center on Violence Against Women and Children, and we are very excited to reintroduce ourselves as the Center for Research on Ending Violence.
We've been working on a name change for a really long time to better align with our mission and to our commitment to addressing a wider range of types of violence. And we also wanted our name to reflect the recognition that violence can happen to all people in all communities. In our research, teaching, and training, we're already addressing a wider scope of types of violence, and we wanted this to be better reflected in our name.
I'm very excited about our name change because I feel it better represents both the broadening scope of our work and the aspirational goals of what we're trying to do. It keeps us centered on where we're going, ending violence, our unique skills, research, and research translation, and honors the growing knowledge base about the interconnected nature of different forms of violence, as well as risk and protective factors.
I am thrilled at the renaming of the Center for Research on Ending Violence. The center has grown so much since its founding in 2007. Rev is far more reflective of the work that we do here at the center. And most importantly, it's so much more inclusive. The idea of ending violence against women, while so important, it excludes so many folks who are impacted by power-based violence. And so I feel like as we continue to challenge these systems that allow violence to continue, it's so important that no one is left on the margins.
Part of our mission has always been to understand and address the root causes of violence. And I think we all recognize that globally, violence against women and children is a very serious, widespread issue. But I think it goes beyond that. And I think that our name didn't necessarily reflect that. I think violence affects all communities, and obviously sometimes disproportionately some communities are more at risk than others. And I think our goal has always been to sort of understand and address those underlying causes.
It is important to remember that violence is pervasive. It touches the lives of all individuals, families, communities, irrespective of their gender identities, their sexual orientation, racial, ethnic identities. Yes, women and children are disproportionately impacted by violence, but it also impacts men and boys. It impacts members of the LGBTQ community and other marginalized communities.
One of the greatest purposes of the center is to better understand how we can both prevent and respond to the many types of violence that affect individuals, groups, families, communities, organizations, and society as a whole.
The greatest purpose of the Center for Research on Ending Violence is to create new knowledge that helps us to prevent violence and promote resilience. We do this through a variety of different methods of community engaged research.
So we haven't really changed in our basic mission and vision. That remains the same. And we will continue with our work in eliminating all forms of violence and the power imbalances that keep them going and sustain and maintain them. I think what we are really going to focus on is our collaborative and inclusive approach in our work towards eliminating all these forms of violence through multidisciplinary research, education, and community engagement.
This work, I think like when we're working in community, it's restorative. I feel really humbled to work in an environment where we are striving for lasting change.
The center is a great place to work. We have a strong sense of community that's supported by shared values about the usefulness of research that listens to the voices of people affected by violence and their communities and learns from their strengths. Violence is a challenging problem, and our center has an atmosphere that supports staff, students, and faculty to learn together and work to try to end violence while taking care of themselves and each other in the process.
Reintroducing the Center for Research on Ending Violence. Like and follow us on our new socials: Facebook at Rutgers Rev Center, Instagram at Rutgers Rev Center, and Twitter at RU_Rev Center.